1590. It's one of the few early instruments that we have an exact date when it was invented. 1590 by a French monk named Father Guillaume. And what he was trying to do was come up with an instrument that would support the bass voices of a church choir. Any of you who have sung in a choir or a chorus, you know there are never enough guys singing bass. And so that was the case in 1590 as well. So Father Guillaume invented this instrument. And it is the ancestor of the tuba because it's blown the same way, the tuba-style mouthpiece. But it's not, except for the lead pipe, made of brass. It was carved out of wood and covered with black leather to make it airtight. And instead of valves, which weren't going to be invented for another 3 centuries yet, it just has finger holes like a fife or a flute. Now, that's problematical. The instrument is 9 feet long, just like the euphoniums. They're all coiled up, and this is coiled in a different way. But if you imagine a woodwind or a flute, the holes are evenly spaced all along the length of the instrument. And imagine a saxophone, where the holes are down close to the bottom for the low notes, and they're as big as the bore of the brass. Well, I can't put my finger over a hole down here, and I certainly couldn't cover one that was that big around. So the finger holes are placed where the player can reach them, and it plays out of tune. So I have to use my lip to adjust the pitch to try to make it play in tune with itself. The other problem is that unlike a woodwind, a brass instrument, when you poke a hole in it, it creates an air leak and the sound gets very, very weak. And so there's 6 holes in this instrument. So what I have to do is hold back a little bit on the notes where all the holes are covered, so that when I uncover one of the holes, this one in particular is the problem one, that's from C to D. Yes, the fundamental pitch of the instrument is C, so it is a C serpent. Although I never played it under 1. C to D is very tough. You have to blow a little harder on the D and a little back off a little on the C. Mozart, in fact, is said to have written for advice to composers, never write a D for a serpent. So it was at its most popular in Mozart's time, which is why I'm dressed in 18th century garb, right up into the early 1800s. And then the Industrial Revolution came along, and it was easier to make things out of brass, and it became possible to machine piston valves that changed the flow of air very precisely. And the poor old serpent that can't play in tune with itself quickly became extinct. But 200 years ago, this was the bass horn.